This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is our first webinar here on NC Squared. We're very happy to be able to provide you with this. My name is Bernardo. For those who don't know me, a lot of people that I see are friendly names that I've had contact with before. So that's good to see that you are here. Welcome, and the people that I didn't have the chance to meet, nice to meet you. I'm also very happy that you're here. In case you don't know, I lead the professional service here at NC Squared, and we also got Anna with us who introduced herself.
Hi everyone, my name's Anna and I manage customer engagement here at NC Squared. And I just want to take this moment to thank you all for taking the time to join our first ever webinar. So I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you all. Back to you, Bernardo.
Thank you, Anna. So I'm just gonna talk real briefly about our objectives and agenda that we have for today. Okay, so the idea behind it when me and Anna were coming up with this is we see a lot of our customers creating their own dashboards, but we know that not all of you were aware of it, and we think it's a very powerful tool and it can really help you achieve your objectives with your business. So the idea is to enable you to build dashboards using the out-of-the-box information that comes with distribution engine. So you don't have to rely on anything else to get that information in. So it's already in your org, so you don't need anything. The agenda would be talking about building the reports, a couple of them to help you leverage those to build your dashboard. Talk and build about the dashboard, and also we have a Q&A session. The idea of the Q&A will be held on the chat there, so you can just type your questions during the thing here. And the key takeaways that we would like you to think when you're building them and talking about it is be mindful of what's relevant for your business. So what people want to see and need to see, that's important. And also keep only the amount of data that makes sense to you. What we normally say is like, how long is your sales cycle or your support cycle or whatever cycle, life cycle of the record you're talking about. So that's how long you should take.
So just a few things to call out before we get started. The first is, although the Q&A is at the end, just feel free to type your questions into the chat as they pop into your head, and then we'll take them all on at the end. Secondly, just for ease of demonstrating, we're going to be talking about leads and a sales org in this demonstration. However, it's going to work exactly the same way for whatever object you're distributing, and likewise for cases. And the third and final thing is we will be sharing these slides and the recording following on from this session. So don't worry too much about taking notes, as we'll send all the information across to you once we're done. So let's get started. Back to you, Bernardo.
Okay, awesome. So just gonna talk real quick here. Here you have all the information that you need on the slides, but it's no fun going to the presentation. So I'm gonna jump into Salesforce, okay? So first I'm gonna show the dashboard, and if you don't know how to get here, it's pretty easy. It can be exposed, but if you just type dashboards or just dash, you're gonna click here, and you're just gonna open the folder that you want or create a new dashboard here. I'm just gonna jump on the dashboard that we're gonna use for this webinar. Okay, and here is a sample of a dashboard that we have. So we're talking about total records here that have been assigned by distribution agent, records past SLA, and average time to action. So I'm gonna take a pause here just to explain a little bit what the idea is behind the numbers that we're showing and how it can align to your objectives within your org. Okay, so if we're looking at past SLA and average TTA, which TTA is being time to action, we're looking for speed to lead. So how fast you're actioning your records and getting them going into your life cycle and your cadences or however you work your records. So this is what what these numbers are trying to show you. We also have total reassigned records here. So these are records that went past SLA and then got sent to someone else or even to a different queue if you wanted to. We have our volumes, and now we have our by distributor and by person and then by distributor as well. And the idea here is more to show like the right person for the right, so the right person for the right job. So it means you're matching the right leads to the right person that should be working on them. Okay, So if you're that type of org, and again, as I mentioned before, like the idea here is like, okay, maybe that's not how you're working at the moment. It's something you're aiming to, or even if work something different. Just think about it, and most probably you'll be able to build these things out using the information that we have on distribution engine. We also have an average TTA by rep, again, trying to look at how fast people are working. If they are past SLAs and the reps, and which distributor, so you can see, for example, cold leads, people are really leaving it behind. It's kind of understandable, but they still need to be worked. And we also have the reassigned by rep, okay? Now we go to the build phase, okay? So first things first, when you're talking about distribution engine, I'm here at the distribution engine app already. I went into settings here up top, and I'm gonna decide for how long I maintain my logs, okay? So in my case, I'm maintaining it forever because this is a simple demo org. I'm just built it for this webinar, so I don't have much data, nothing really relevant here, but you can pick here as long as you want on these options here. Then we jump to our reports, okay? And to get reports, same principle as for dashboards, you just type reports here, it's gonna show here. And we're gonna click new report. This brings us to the report types that we want. You could type distribution here and it would filter until you find it, but you can just jump to other reports here, and this shows all the reports types that come out of the box, okay? In my case, because I'm distributing leads, I'm gonna do distribution logs with leads, which mix our logs with the lead information. So I'll just hit continue here. That brings me to my report. Okay. I'm just gonna give a name to it that makes sense to me. So we're gonna be talking about time to action. So I'm gonna call time to action webinar. Oops. Let's make it look nice for posterity. Webinar 101. So I gave it a name. Okay. Here you always be able to see what's the report type it's using. Okay. And now I'm gonna pick the fields that I wanna show. So first thing that I wanna show is my distributor. Okay, so I want to just type name here and see here, I already see distributor name. I do have the update preview automatically on my org because it's not huge. I don't have much data, but if you are on a heavy org, you have a lot of data on, I do recommend you to turn this off because it makes life easier. So that means things won't be refreshing real time, but at least things will be quick for you to do things, okay? So again, I have my distributor name here. Then I'm also gonna want to know who are my team members. Okay, so as you can see here, these are my grouping roles. And now I'm gonna pick the information that I wanna show. So I'm gonna pick time to action in minutes. And as you can see, it sits on the log, but it also, it's a custom field on the lead itself. So if you just want to build a report with leads only, that information is there. So I just put it here. I remove what I don't want. So I'm just interested in time to action. I don't want subtotals because it makes it look not nice to me. But like the way it looks here is not that important because you'll be leveraging only the information that you're preparing here on your dashboard. And a key thing here is you're gonna pick an average instead of a sum. And I just clicked here on the top and that shows me this menu, okay? I hit apply. But as you can see, I still see no numbers here. Say, oh my God, what's going on? Don't be afraid, it's easy to solve this. So you're gonna pick filters, okay? And at the moment, by default, it's my distribution logs. You're gonna pick all distribution logs. I'm using all time, but of course you can use things that make more sense to you. But you say, oh, I still don't have any numbers. Yes, because the number is really low at the moment because you're not getting the right number yet. So you need to choose where time to actions not equals to empty, because if it's equal to empty, it's counting as 0 on the average, so it skews the number down. So you're gonna think everything is going great and no problems, but actually you have a huge problem. So you hit apply. That will bring you the numbers, as you can see here. I can choose save and run. I'm gonna just save at the moment. And at the moment, it shows private reports by default, but I don't want my report to be private. In my case, I'm gonna use the distribution engine reports folder, okay? And what's important to think here is like who will be able to see, okay? So make sure that's a folder that the right people have the right capabilities inside to view, edit, or whatever. And since I'm mentioning that of capabilities, it is important to say that only people with a distribution engine license will be able to build these reports, okay? So we recommend you being either an admin or a manager on the permission sets, and that will allow you to build these reports, okay? So now we got our report, okay? That's one of the bases for our dashboard. We're gonna have to jump back to our dashboards to build the dashboard that we're looking at. So I closed the wrong tab there. I'm just gonna reopen real quick. So I have an incomplete one. I'm not gonna build the whole thing because I think it might be too much for us now. So I'm just gonna jump here. Okay, and as you can see, I have my dashboard here. It's basically the same with a couple of gaps, as seen here. I'm missing my total records past SLA and my average TTA by rep. Okay, so I'm gonna hit edit on the top. Okay, I'm gonna add a component, and I'm gonna use my total and in alert records report. Okay, select it, and then I'm gonna pick the first type that I want for my chart, and it's gonna, in my case, I want a vertical bar chart. I don't want to group it by anything, so I'm gonna remove that. I want to show it by team member, and I want the sum of in alert is enabled. So here I can see that. Okay, but there's more that we need to do. Okay, we need to give it a number. Sorry, a name that makes sense. So in my case, I'm gonna say records past SLA by rep. Okay, and so you understand the field itself is called alert, but it's actually the SLA that you see on our UI. Okay, so previously that's how it was called, and it got stuck like that. So that's why we use in alert. Okay, and that fits nicely here. Okay, then we have another component to add, which is going to be our total. So we're going to use the same report. Okay, and that's interesting because it brings us to show that one report can be used for many things in a dashboard. So that can help. Okay, and you already selected the number that I want to show, but one thing that I don't like is the colors. So I think the higher the number, it should be red. So I can just click here and I can pick a red that I want. You could choose the RGB or whatever makes sense. Yellow, it's fine. So you could put like on colors that make sense for your org. Then total. Sorry, total records. Okay. Again, I'm just following the dark, which is the dashboard default. And I added, just put it on here. Simple drag and drop to the top. Sorry, it's going crazy at the moment. So I just make it the right size so it fits everything. And then I'm gonna, before saving, I just wanna make sure some things are there, okay? This is very important, view dashboard as, because as I was mentioning, for you to build the report, you do need a distribution engine license and the right permission set. But a dashboard allows you to run as someone else. So in my case, I'm choosing to run as Anna, okay? Because I know she has a license and she is an admin. And this is really good if we're talking about giving people that don't have access to distribution engine information about distribution engines, such as managers, directors, C-level people. It's like a one-stop shop for them to know what's going on with their records and how things are working at the moment. So it's just another person. Myself, I do like the dark one. I think it's easy on the eye, and we use the pond one because it pops out and it's really good contrast. Then once you save that, you're gonna save your dashboard, okay? And then it's gonna be, in your case, if it's the first time, it's gonna show something real close to this. And again, I'm using my distribution engine dashboard because I know the right people have the right access to it. Okay, so make sure that you pick the right right folder so that everyone has access to it and you can build your own dashboard. So this is a brief the overview of it, of what I would like to wanted to show you on how to do things and how to work. Anna, I'm sure she will be talking about a few pointers that she has in mind now to talk to us. But thank you.
Thanks so much, Bernardo. Yeah, there's probably only one thing I would call out in addition to everything Bernardo has said. I think one of the real selling points of using the dashboard functionality is you can combine both your distribution engine and your business data. And we've seen some of our customers use this incredibly effectively. So one example would be they compared response times or time to action with conversion rates. And they're able to use the dashboards to pinpoint the exact time that was optimum in terms of responding to their prospects. So again, it's a really good tool to use when you're combining that business data with your distribution engine data, and you can use that to feed back into and optimize your setup. So again, if you do want any additional information about this, feel free to book some time in Bernardo's diary and he'll be really happy to help you set up. But really, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This is our first webinar, so we'd really appreciate any feedback or ideas you have. And that includes any ideas of what you'd like to see webinars about in the future, if you'd like to see any future webinars from us at all. So all feedback back is good feedback. So we'll just use this time to answer some of the questions in the side. And again, keep them coming because we've got a little bit of time. The first one we've got is from Mark Cohen. And he said that they've had Distribution Engine for a while and their dashboard only has 2 reports on it. How can you get the full out-the-box dashboard? So the report that you're seeing is the current kind of out-the-box Distribution Engine dashboard, so to speak. This one we've actually built using the Salesforce dashboard functionality. And we've done that combining the reports that Bernardo showed you how to set up and creating our dashboards that way. So that's really what you're seeing here. There is a dashboard that comes as standard, and it's something that we are looking at improving shortly. So there'll be a kind of slightly slicker out-the-box one that's coming as well. But the one that we've built is one that we've shown you how to build for yourselves. Yeah. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, just to say, it's really hard to build one that's out of the box for everyone because everyone has different use cases. So that was the idea why we're like opening this our webinar with this, and also like giving a bridge for you to contact me or any of us here to help you with your dashboard needs or any other needs within Distribution Engine.
So our next question is from Colleen. So she asks, what is driving the logic for time to action? Is it looking at an activity being logged or record modification? So this time to action is an out-the-box functionality for Distribution Engine. So Bernardo is just going to show you where to set that up now. But essentially, it allows you to track the time from distribution or assignment to any key milestone. So one example that most of our customers use it for is time to contact tracking. So what you can see Bernardo showing us here is you can determine which actions you'd like us to track from assignment until, and that's what determines the logic for time to action tracking. So you just set that up in the tool. Bernardo, did you have anything to add to that one?
No, I think you added everything. I think the only important thing is you can also have auto action. Okay, so in case of creating an event or a task against that record, we can change the status to, or whatever field you picked, the milestone to be set. And we just brought out an option that you can pick if you want just the owner of the record to set the time to action, or for example, if you have like an automated cadence tool or something automated on your org, it can also be triggering that with like a simple tick box that you have in here, which allows you to action from any user, to track actions from any user.
So Colleen, I think that answers your question there about fields populated via outreach. As long as those fields are populated in Salesforce, it can use those. So the next one is from Kevin. So he asks, for displaying the best information on dashboards, how much data do you recommend archiving? So Kevin, this one really depends on how your organization works. So if you're working in a sales organization, it probably depends on the length of your sales cycle, if you want to be benchmarking against the same quarter last year. So again, that is a decision that we need to kind of really look at how you work as an organization. But if you do want to chat that one through any further, feel free to reach out to us directly, because I think we need a slightly wider conversation around what your org setup's like, what information you're tracking, etc. So we've got another Kevin. What is the logic for reassignment tracking? Does it count when a rep manually reassigns to another rep? So I'm going to throw this one over to Bernardo.
So no, at the moment, we're just tracking here. So if I go back here to tracking, it's just looking at distribution engine. So the way it works, in my case, I pick the field, which is the status, and I'm looking if it's equal news 30 minutes after assignment, 2 hours and 4 hours. You have up to 3 that you can choose. So if I change the ownership manually, it does not count as a auto reassigned. Okay, so when we're showing here on the webinar, it's total records auto reassigned. That would make more sense for you. Okay, so it's not reassigned by a person, but reassigned automatically, leveraging distribution engine functionality. Hope that answers for you, Kevin.
So that brings us to the end of our end of the questions that we have. Just wanted to take the time to say thank you so much, everyone, for your support in joining this. We've really enjoyed doing it, and we hope you found it useful. If you do have any further feedback, we're going to be sending a follow-up email with the recording in it, but feel free to just share your ideas, thoughts, feedback, or whatever will be useful afterwards. But thank you, and have a really great evening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for coming, and we're very happy to being able to do this. And we were thinking of having more webinars. And if you have any suggestions for a next one that you would like to see, please tell us. We're looking forward to hear from everyone. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.